Good afternoon. Welcome to Daily Currency Update from the Currency Desk. Today, in the morning session, we had a very strong opening for the Indian rupee, which was up by almost 1% against the US dollar. Now, the major gain in the Indian rupee was due to the following factors. Firstly, we had the quantitative easing round 3 implemented by the US Federal Reserve last week, which decision came on Friday evening. And we also saw the impact of the QE3 on Friday, wherein the Indian rupee appreciated by almost 2%. Also, adding to the strength in the Indian rupee are the factors like 15% hike in the diesel price, and on Friday evening, just after the close of the markets, there was a declaration of FDI being allowed in the retail and aviation sectors. So this was also another supportive factor for the Indian rupee, wherein we could have some inflow of dollars from outside the country, and this inflow would all in all help the RBI control the appreciation in the US dollar rate vis-a-vis the Indian rupee. But what needs to be seen up till now is what the opposition parties, which are clearly against such implementation of policies, would do. And also at the same time, the global sentiment is slightly sideways right now, though there has been some positive measures implemented by the European Central Bank and the US Federal Reserve both last week. So this has calmed some nerves, but at the same time, fundamentally they do not seem to be that much effective in controlling the problems that are seen ahead. Today we had the RBI policy, wherein the RBI Governor Subbarao kept the policy rates unchanged, that is the repo and the reverse repo rates, but at the same time the cash reserve ratio, that is the CRR, was cut by 25 basis points. So this again would increase the supply of rupees in the economy, and at the same time we saw immediate impact of that, wherein rupee covered a lot of its gains of the day and depreciating by almost 30 paise throughout after the policy was announced. In terms of rupee, we see a bearish trend, and if the current resistance, that is first resistance of 54.1, does not sustain, only then the trend would change. Otherwise, if the rupee remains below 54.10, then the trend will remain bearish and one can initiate a fresh short for a target of around 53.10. In terms of Euro USD, it is currently trading at 4-month high after the support from ECB announcing bond buyback program and the US FOMC and the German court order. So all this collectively has brought the the euro against the US dollar at 1.32 levels, around 1.32 levels. This risk on sentiment is likely to be continuing throughout the week, except for a few data which are not expected to bring in much triggers into the market. First is the Eurozone trade balance data. So this is not expected to have that much of an impact, but still we could see the euro move between 1.3 to 1.32 levels against the US dollar. So against the Indian rupee as well, technically the trend is downside, that is bearish. Now until the euro does not cross above 70.93 against the Indian rupee, we can say that the bearish trend would continue, and the first target from here in would be 70.10. In terms of GBP, the GBP has also rallied despite no major data or no major change in the fundamentals of the UK economy, but tracking the gains of the euro against the USD, GBP has also rallied against the USD. Now the recent economic data that has come out for UK has also been somewhat supportive for the UK economy, that is the industrial production, the PPI, the other sales growth data. They were pretty supportive for the UK. If not anything, they were not negative at least. So one can see that it has been sort of supportive for the pound. Pound is near its April high of 1.6304. So if it continues around such levels, then it could continue to remain bullish against the USD. But at the same time, on Thursday we have the retail sales data, which would again be crucial, wherein we could see how the domestic demand is doing good, and will it sustain the previous levels in August. But against the Indian rupee, we have similarly bearish trend due to the strong appreciation in the Indian rupee. The pound value has also fallen down, so one can initiate a fresh short below 87.10 levels with a target of 85.70. Also again in terms of Japanese yen, there is a strong expectation that the Bank of Japan would bring in some quantitative easing, some monetary easing in its meeting in 19 September. So on this basis, there has been a strong fall in the Japanese yen's value against the US dollar. What is worth noting here is that if the Japanese yen continues to rally or remain strong against the US dollar, there will be a lot of pressure on Japanese exports, and since Japan is an export based economy, there will be a lot of pressure on the performance of their economy and the growth. Also, right now we expect the yen to weaken up till 79 levels against the US dollar. So all in all, the negative trend of the Japanese yen against the Indian rupee would continue, and on Friday we saw that it broke the 70 level and came down to 69. Right now the trend is bearish, and one can keep a short position right now with a stop loss of 69.10 and a target of 67.80.